Well, hi everybody, this is Steve, D9 Games. I'm going to attempt to do 3 battles, and I'm probably only going to be able to do 1 round in each battle, hopefully 2, so you can see how it works. The first battle is going to be a mob battle, so we're going to start with the hard one and do the mob, and then we're going to move into encounter number 2 is going to be what I call an equal battle, same amount of foes as the PCs, and then the final is going to be like a big boss, BBEG, where it's just one big foe against the group. So it's deadly, it's quick. I'm going to try to do this as smooth as possible so you can see how Enlightened runs these different types of combat. So this first one is the mob battle. So I have, you could do an infinite spawn. I'm going to just do like 24. I mean, the number's kind of irrelevant, but infinite spawn's probably a good idea because the idea is these guys need to find a way to get out of this room. And we'll say that they fell in a pit and it led to this room, so there's really no backtracking. I mean, you could troll them if you need to like have a stone door slam behind them and lock them in. But we'll just say that they're headed into this dungeon so they can get either save somebody or a magic item or some loot, whatever you want to use is fine. But for this example, we're going to do a mob where these goblin archers are up on the 2nd floor looking down and shooting down at the group. We're going to say they can only do, since there's 5, let's just make it simple and say that they're doing 10 at a time. So 5 on one side, 5 on the other. But if it's an infinite spawn, they're just going to keep rotating. But as far as defenses, there's going to be 2 arrows coming down at each of our Timber Sprout 5 heroes each round. So because they came into this and it was a bit of an ambush, you can see 4 of our heroes have moved up to the middle of the room, so that's 4 spaces. It gives them an action. And then Sam, of course, the rogue, went 8 all the way up to that door. He's still about 5 feet away from the door, where he's going to try to either open it or pick the lock or whatever the case may be. So let's start with defenses. And going around the horn, you can see I have yellow, blue, orange, green, clear. Yellow is our health dice for Edward, our priest. And then we have the blue dice for Bastion, our guard. Isabel, the mage, has the orange dice. Blake, he's the scout, green, and then our rogue Samuel has the clear dice. So we're going to start left to right around the horn, simple turn order, and we're going to roll for defense. Now I'm going to do 1 roll for defense, and depending on how bad they miss, that's how many arrows connect. And remember, they're all getting shot with 2 arrows this round, and it's the surprise round. So these level 2 goblins would normally be acting after our heroes act, being level 4, but because this is a surprise round, they're going to defend first, act second this round, and then they're going to switch to act and then defend. And we'll see if I can remember all this. I have no notes. I'm running this off the cuff, but that's just what I like to do, so you can see that if this crazy Californian can do it, you guys are going to tear it up. So here we go. Edward rolls 7, 1, and 0 for his defense. And we're going to say, because they're high ground and kind of a surprise round, he drops the highest die and rolls a 1. So he fails dramatically. So he's going to get hit by 2 arrows from our level 2 goblins, which is going to do 4 and 4 damage. Now Edward's running fair armor. I'm going to say he's running some kind of leather, so he's absorbing 2. So he's going to take 2 and 2 for the damage, no shield. So there's 2 for 1 arrow and 2 for the other arrow. So he's getting some heat right away. So for his action now, he's going to attempt to bless the party. And being a divine hero, he gets ease with this roll. He's going to roll an 8. We're going to say that misses. So he does not bless the party with his action, and that's it for him. Because of the surprise round, they already did their move, and then they're getting surprised that they get to act. So next is Bastion. Bastion's going to roll normally with 1 degree of difficulty, but since he's a guard, he gets to kill one of those die and roll straight up die. His defense, though, I think I'm going to say he needs a 12. He rolls an 11, so he gets hit with 1 arrow because he only missed by 1. That's going to be a glancing blow because he's got plenty of armor and shield. For his action, he is going to attempt to protect the mage and the scout. So he's going to tuck his shield in there, turn around, and he's going to protect those two for their defenses. So that's his action. We're going to switch over to the mage. Now, the mage has 2 arrows coming her way, but with Bastion's shield, which is great. So she's going to roll her defense, which would normally be 1 degree of difficulty. We're going to drop a die for the shield. She rolls a 3, which still misses, and it happens to miss her by 6. So she's going to take 2 arrows as well with no armor. She's got some cloth or something, so she's taking 4 and 4, so that's 8 damage for the mage. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So she got 2 arrows, massive damage. Squishy mage. Anyway, but she's going to turn and she's going to blast. And being a seer, she's got the range verbatim. So she's going to blast 3. She's going to hit the middle one and see if she can blast 3 with ease as a mage. She's going to drop the 0, nice, and rolls a 17. 17 is going to be 9 over plus 4.5 rounded, gives you 14 damage to all 3. So what we're going to do is just kind of keep track of it's an infinite spawn, so she knocks out 3, which is going to help this round on some of those defenses. So nice job. I like to stay away from infinite spawn so I can kind of give them some type of tracking. So if you do 20, let's say, she just took it down to 17 foes left. So there's 17 left. I'm going to grab a couple of these little dice here, see if I can make a 17. In fact, I have a D20 here, so I'm going to put 17, so I know there's that many goblins left in this guard room. Okay, next. Scout. He is going to try to defend. He's getting protected by the shield, so he has a 2 die roll. And a 14 is good enough. And then he's going to take his arrow and shoot one of the goblins, so he even gets to 16. Being a scout, he rolls with ease, drops the 1, 16, no problem. Now there are 17 goblin archers left. No, 16, sorry. He just killed 1, so 16 left. We go to the rogue. Now, he already made his move. He's got a defense with difficulty for 2 arrows. He's trying to get to that door, but he rolls an 11, which is good enough. So he's able to dodge these arrows, maybe because he was moving. They weren't able to hit him, and that's the end of the player's round. Now we go to round 2, where the players get to act first and defend second. But before that, we have what's called the Monster Mambo. So we've gone around the horn. Now we go to Monster Mambo. These guys are just going to regroup, and the ones that are dead are going to be replaced by some live goblins. Of course, we have 16 left altogether, but only 10 fit in the murder holes, the arrow slots upstairs. So 10 at a time, as much as 16. We go to round 2. Now, this time, Edward gets to act first, defend second. So for his action, he's going to move 1, 2, 3, 4. So he can get next to the rogue there. But he's going to turn and ask his divine assistant for a blessing on the party. So he's going to roll for bless. He's divine. He gets ease. He rolls a 10. He succeeds. Everybody gets 1 degree of ease on their next defense, which is going to be huge in here. And good job, Edward. Now he rolls his defense straight up. He rolls a 10, which is going to be good enough. So he defends the arrows. He's able to bless the group. We've got some positive on the player side. Now we go to Bastion. Bastion is also going to move. 1, 2, 3. And he's going to use his shield to guard his 2 buddies there, or anybody that can get adjacent to him. That's his action. So for his defense, he's going to roll with ease, being a guard. Drops the 0 and rolls a 15. He also avoids these goblin arrows. Beautiful. We're getting some plus here for the players. Next is the mage. Isabel's going to move as well. 1, 2, 3, 4. And she's going to try to take out 3 again. Ease as a mage. She rolls a 7 this time, which is a miss. So she's taking 1 damage. She missed her target by 1. She's a mage, so maybe the movement. She burns her hands. Now she has to defend. But this time, instead of a straight up defense, she gets an ease being next to that shield of bastions. And remember, the bless was off. She gets another degree of ease from the blessing of Edward. So she takes the top 2, which is 17. She is good. The shield and the blessing are able to take care of our mage Isabel. Scout, he is going to do the same thing. He's going to move next to that shield. 1, 2, 3, 4. But he's going to shoot an arrow and try to get that 16 to a 15. And he rolls an 11, which is good enough. Taking out the goblin. Now, if you want to get technical, how much damage did he do by rolling an 11? We'll say he beat his coordination by 3. So he does 3 damage plus his weapon tier of 2. So that's a total of 5. So these goblins have 4 hit points and they're absorbing 1. So they could take 5. Essentially, he's able to take 1 out. So if he does any less than that, you would have to put a little token or a die next to the goblin that he hit that did not get the kill. And if it's more, obviously it's overkill. Now the fighter does have, which they do not have a fighter in the group, something called share the pain. So if he does over damage, more than what the goblin can take, like let's say he does 10 damage, he would be able to kill 1 goblin, which takes 5 with the armor, and then his neighbor sharing the pain to another 5. So he could take out 2 goblin in 1 swing or a couple of swings of his sword. Anyway, that's the scout. Now we switch over to the rogue. He moves up to that door, tries to open it. It is locked. He wants to do a fragile task to pick the lock of the door. He's a rogue, so he gets ease, and he is going to need an 8 or better. Dropping the 1, he rolls a 10. 6 and a 4 is 10. He's able to pick the lock of the door. Yay, the round is over. So I'm going to stop there. You can see the writing on the wall. They're going to have to defend some more arrows, but of course they can act first. They're going to skidoo through this door and shut it. At that point, our archers are going to buzz downstairs through some secret corridors, and they're going to join the fight in the next room. But of course, the next room, as I mentioned, is going to be an equal battle. So they're going to see a statue of a minotaur with 2 swords on the throne, and they're going to have 4 of these goblin make it into the fight with their sword and spears. And let's see if I can pause this and set up for the next one. Okay, the second room. This is where they find the minotaur statue, and some of the goblins, the ones that are melee fighter specialists, roll into the fray. Now you remember they got it down to 15 on the number of goblin archers that were left up in the rafters. You can storyline if you're running this exact thing into, hey, some of them just are going to regroup. Maybe do a timer. I like to do that where I roll and then cut this D9 in half and say, so 5 in half is 2.5. Rounded up is 3. So in 3 rounds, and I'll keep a little 3 over here off to the side. In 3 rounds, these guys are going to regroup with melee weapons and join the fray. Now, I did have them out here, but I can take them out for 3 rounds. That way the timer die adds some interesting dynamic. Now, if I would have rolled a 0, they would have been there ready to go. If I roll a 9, it might have been, 5 rounds. So anyway, in 3 rounds, if we get that far on this example video, they're going to have some help so that it will become 6 versus 6. But this guy is a badass. Our group is level 4. You can see how Sam is already all the way up by the statue. He kind of boogied up there to see what's going on, what's behind the statue. You know how it is. There's always something hidden behind a statue. So he's making his way. But the minute he crosses that line in front of the statue, this thing animates and begins to attack the party. So that is going to happen. And then I'll kind of, I'll zoom back out a little bit so we can see some dice rolls if we need to. But anyway, that is the scenario. So now, again, in 3 rounds, it's going to end up being 6v6, which could be interesting because maybe they take this thing down, and then as they're finding the treasure chest that's hidden behind the statue, or they find the lever that they can pull and turn that statue back into its statue form. But right now it's been animated, and it is a dual-wielding, large minotaur type creature, beast. So we're going to go around the horn, see what we can do, maybe a round or 2 here. the first action, and of course, level 6 Minotaur. These guys are going to be defending or reacting. That's the new phrase we use in Enlightened, is react first and act second. So the reaction for Edward is to, well, there's nothing coming at him yet because this guy's in melee and he has reach. So we're going to skip to him. Let's see. He'll skip to his action. He's going to bless the party. He drops the 0, rolls an 8, fails the bless. And then we go over to Bastion. Bastion, again, is not in melee yet, so he will move. He'll stand fast and defend his group with his shield. So nothing going there. Then the mage, Isabel, is going to cook. Cook or focus spell. She's going to skip her turn to gain an extra die of ease on her spell for next round. So that's that. Scout Blake is going to take a shot at this thing. Now, he's going to drop a die to do a called shot, and as both of this Minotaur's eyes are glowing red, he's going to try to shoot him in the eye. So he's dropping a die. Normally he'd roll 3. He's going to roll 2 for a called shot. And let's see what happens. An 11. An 11 is a success, but not high enough to cause any damage and hit him in the eye. So we're going to say he hits him in the head and does a total of, well, his rollover was 1 + 2, 3 damage. And I'm going to need another die here. So I can track this guy, level 6. He's running 36 hits. So I've got my 6 and my 3. 3 damage. This guy's got natural armor, so he's probably going to absorb, let's say, 2, because he's a badass. So he's only going to take a glancing blow here. So he's down to 35 hits. All right, next up, we've got the Scout. He is going to, he has to react first. Now, this guy's going to take a swing. He's still advancing the party, but he's going to take a swing with his sword. And so let's see what the rogue can do to defend that as he runs behind the statue. A 13 is good, so he swings the sword over Sam's head and then approaches the group. So we go straight to Sam's action, which is to run around behind, because he's checking out this treasure chest and this lever, and we'll get to him in a minute. And then the Minotaur says, I don't care about you. I am going to make blood spill out of the group. So there's that. Little zoom in there. And we go to the Mambo. So the Mambo is him moving. His intention is to swing 2 attacks, doing 12 damage to both Bastion and the priest. And you remember Isabel's cooked. So we go straight to Edward. Edward is this time not going to worry about blessing the party. He probably could or should, but this guy's right in his grill. And Edward's MO is to fight unless he has some space. So he is going to attack the Minotaur with his mace. A 15 is good. So he's over by 6. Plus his weapon damage of 3. He's going to do 9 damage. This Minotaur is absorbing 2. So he's going to take 7. He goes from 35 to 28. Nice hit. And you know what I forgot to do? I actually forgot to make Edward defend first. So let's put that on ice and see what this defense is. Now he's getting some shield help, so it's with ease. And he rolls a 13, so he's going to be good on the defense, and then he does the damage. All right, back to Bastion. Bastion also defends, and he's a defender. He's going to roll with ease. 17 is good, so he's able to block the sword with his shield. And then his action is to defend his foes, so he's not going to attack. We go to Cooked Isabel. Isabel's normally rolling 3 dice because she's a mage. She's going to add 1 for the cook, so now it's 4. And she gets time and a half over on damage. And she's running ice magic, I believe. I think I said she burned her hands earlier, but it will be like an ice burn. So she's going to try to freeze this sucker with a 4-die roll. And we have a 13, which is over by 4, 5, 6. 6 frost damage. Yeah, he's got some natural armor. He's not going to be too worried, but he's going to take 4 damage. So he's down to 24 hits. And she's not going to move. She's going to stay there. Had nothing to defend because the swords were going to Edward and Bastion. Go over to the scout, who's going to not have anything to react to, so he's going to take his action with another called shot to the eye. He's really trying to do some double damage by calling a shot, so he's going to drop from 3 to 2, and he rolls a 13, so he's good. 4 called shot, gets double damage. He does 8 damage, so it's a critical hit. This guy absorbs 2, so he's going to take 6. He is down to 18 hit points. And now this is round 2, so in one more round, his goblin buddies are going to roll in just when they think they've got this handled, and they're going to be surprised. So next up, we have the rogue. The rogue finds a chest, and above the chest in this like stone, it's like a stone throne. See the throne there? So behind the throne, there's a chest and a lever. So the lever might very well be helpful, but we've got this rogue is kind of has kind of a gold lust, and we're going to have him roll a mental roll first and foremost. So his reaction is going to be a mental roll, and I think he needs a 10. He's a rogue. He probably needs a 9. He rolls an 11, so he says, I see the lever, I see the treasure. Let's take care of business first. He pulls the lever, and this statue stops the attack and begins to retreat to the throne. So immediately he goes, enough of you guys, and he turns back into stone on the throne. Samuel succeeded on the mental check. Hallelujah. And we go to round 3. Now this round, there's nothing going on. So the players say, hey, what did you find back there? 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then, of course, everybody's kind of checking it out. Sam says, yeah, I found this treasure box in the lever. Don't touch the lever. That might get this guy going again. But this treasure box, I'm going to try to open the lock. And, of course, it's locked, so it's a fragile task. He's going to roll. He rolls a 9. Oh, just enough. But coming down the stairs are some angry little goblins. Boop. And then we do a little battle, 4 on 5. And if one of those goblins can get back to the lever, they can reanimate the statue, which has 18 hit points left. So that is how you'd run the equal. Now we're going to pause this video. I'm going to set up the final encounter, number 3, and it's back in the guard room where they're ready to leave, and they run into, you'll see. Okay, they get the treasure, the chest of rubies, and they get a dagger of magical properties, and they feel like they've taken care of business, and they're exiting the dungeon only to find, is that a pool of water? What's that shimmering in the middle of the room? And it jumps up and starts to throw. These little black dice are going to be the little poisonous goop that this thing's throwing at the group. So how do they handle this? Do they run back into the other room? Do they regroup? Do they think about what's going on? But this would be a level 8 beast. So we're going to give it 5 attacks. If they get adjacent to it, it can do as much as 16 points of damage. Of course, all its little pupes are going to do 8 points of damage if he can hit them. So they're going to be defending these, maybe trying to run out of here, and we go around the horn. So we got Edward is like, oh crap, I'm going to bless the group. Of course, he has to react first to see if these little splats hit him. So he's going to roll a 10, which is enough to avoid this little splat. It misses him, but it hits the ground, and it will find out that it will attack anybody adjacent to him as well. Now for his action, or his act, is going to be a bless. He has a 0, 2, and a 7. 9 is just enough to bless one party member, and he's going to bless the rogue who's frantically in the front of the group for some reason. Maybe he thought this was over, and he wishes he was behind the shield. Next, Bastion the guard. He has a reaction of the bloop as well. with ease. He happens to roll a 13, so this thing hits the wall next to him. And of course, we're going to find out next round, anybody adjacent to these things are going to have to make another attack as they animate and start to be like little mini-me's for this glob. Okay, and then for his action, he's going to move. Boom, 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 and get in front. Not adjacent to this bloop, or it could be really deadly, but he stays back in front of the rogue. Not to metagame, but that's just where he went, right in front of the rogue. Isabel sees the writing on the wall. She's going to cook, so we're going to give her ease on her next cast. She might try to cast on this big bad. So what we're going to run on this level 8 big bad is not necessarily 64 hits. You can do that if you want, but let's say this thing is invincible. They just need to take out enough of these little mini blobs. It can't move, so if they just walk around it, they're going to be fine, but they got to dodge all these blobs. If they go up adjacent and try to attack this thing, it will engulf them for 16 points of damage and take it right in, almost like a gelatinous cube style. So this is just the dungeon blob from our game. All right, next is the mage. She's got to run a defense. No more shield there, so she's going to roll it straight up. And she rolls a 6, which is a miss. So she's going to take, like we said, it was 16 and 8. So she takes 8 points of damage from a blob hit with no armor. I think she had 6 left, so she is down. She goes, oh, Edward, Hope, get us out of here. Why did we come to this foolish place? Okay, that's her thing. Next, Scout. The Scout's going to try to shoot the big bad. Now, a successful shot on the big bad might give it 1 less blob to throw, but still going to be able to throw 4, maybe not 5. Or if they success critically, maybe it shuts him down for a round. But the arrow will go in, and as the blob absorbs the arrow and just dissolves it, it doesn't have a chance to shoot out any of these little slime blobs. So we'll see what the Scout can do. Rolls a 16, which is great. That's enough to slow this thing down. In fact, we'll say the blob does not get to shoot at the final hero because of that shot. So now we do Monster Mambo. This thing doesn't move. It's absorbing the arrow, so we're going to give it 4 shots this round. So 4 shots, and we're going to say everybody but the mage is going to be attacked. Of course, the mage is down, and hopefully Edward is up before the mage so he can try to heal the fallen Isabel. All right, next round. Reaction first, because this thing is higher level than the party. Edward is going to roll to defend, and he gets a 17. So this blob flies past him, lands over here. And he is going to spend his action to turn and try to heal Isabel before she dies, which she has to roll a death roll if it gets to her turn. So in combat, he must roll. He's a divine dude, so he needs to roll a, we're going to say a 9 will do it. We're going to say he needs a 9. 6, 7, and 8 is good enough. 15, so she gets to heal. So we take all her little heal dice over here. She's the orange. And we're going to roll them. And he's dealing a tier 4 heal, which I believe is 5, 6 now. 3, 4 long rest, 1, 2 off season. So let's get that roll out of the way. I'm going to roll these little bones here. This is the health dice for Isabel. And she gets 3 to the off season. She gets 3 to long rest, and that was a really good roll because she has. The rest go to healing. Actually, no, I said 5, 6, right? So she loses her 4s too. All right, so she has 5 hits, a lot of long rest, and then some off season. Next up, Bastion. Bastion, gosh, what would he do without metagaming? I think he would be protecting still, so he might move here to lend his shield to both Edward and Sam. But first, he needs to roll to defend against a bloop. And he rolls a 10, which does not. So he gets hit for 8 damage. and that takes care of one of the shots. Now he gets hit for 8. He's got 5 points of armor, so 3 points of damage for our guard bastion. Boom. All right, next up, see if we can finish this round, and you get the point, and we'll wrap it up with a little summary. Next up is the mage. She is gets up as her move, and she did not get attacked this round. We decided the other two are for Blake and Sam. So she gets up, she shoots a spell, 1, 2, 3, 4, at the blob with ease, and an 8 matches, so she takes no damage, but she does no damage. Nothing doing there. She's still trying to recuperate from being unconscious, a bit dizzy. Blake has a reaction to roll, and he rolls a 7, which misses. He takes 8 damage, and he also has to. Let's see, he missed by. He's going to take a hit from this blorp too. So 8 plus 8. So he's going to get 2 points of a blorp. So 6 and 6 for Blake. That might knock him down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. He's down to 3 hit points. He got slime bombed right there, but he's going to take his action as a scout. He's going to shoot that big boss with, a 17. Missed Enlightenment by 1 point. 17 is going to be 8 over plus his weapon tier of 3, which is 11 damage to the big blurp, and we know that we're running him invincible. So sorry about that, little trolley, but that's how this one's going to go. Sam the Rogue, he's got the ease because he's behind the shield, but he still rolls a 5 and gets hit for 8 damage. He's absorbing 2, so he takes 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And for his action, he's going to throw a dagger at this thing. He rolls a 15. And of course, as we know, the dagger goes in. The hit is going to take 2 less shots away from him next round. So instead of 5, he only gets 3. And that's where we're going to stop. That's how I run the big bads. This guy's invincible. He keeps throwing these pupes out. And as soon as they figure it out, they can just walk around him without being adjacent and out the door. So that's it. We had our mob battle. We had our equal battle. And we had our big boss. I hope you had fun with that. And as you can see, our scout is almost dead. Isabel went down. This game is super deadly. I love the way it works. And even Isabel, if they heal her up, she's got some off-season damage. It's going to force her to consider to halt her adventuring career enough to heal in the off-season, to regroup in the off-season. If there was any enlightenments, they get to run that. And that's all I have for today. I'll hope to see y'all soon. And until next time, peace.